So consciously choosing not to be up in the head with thinking, but to be down in the body, in the realm of sensing and feeling. And sensing and feeling into how you are on this particular Friday. So we're meeting on the 1st of May, which is the Celtic festival of Beltane. So festival of fertility, of growth and blossoming. So it comes midway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. So it's a pretty potent time, as I'm sure we're all experiencing. We've had a few days of sunshine and nature is really starting to show herself. So the trees coming into leaf and the blossoms starting to burst. So just feeling into any kind of uplift of energy that you might be experiencing in yourself that mirrors this outward expression of nature rising, of energy rising. So just see if you can feel that in your body anywhere. And perhaps just planting the question at the beginning here of what in your life you might want to blossom and grow. What is it that you might like to fertilize right now to bring to fruition? So just drop the question in. Don't need to have any answers. Could be that an answer came immediately, but not necessarily looking for answers, but just being curious about the question. And then we'll return to it at the end and we'll see if the body maybe has helped you come to any kind of conclusion about that. So it could be that as we move and you really listen to what the body is showing you, it could be pointing in the direction of something that you would like to blossom and grow. But let's just experiment with expanding a little bit in the position that we're in. So I'm assuming you're all lying on your back to rest. So perhaps just take your feet a bit wider apart. So legs long if that's comfortable, but keep knees bent if you need to. But taking feet a bit wider apart. So even off the edges of your mat if that feels comfortable enough. So legs are opening out wider. Just notice how it is, sort of open out through the lower body. Just see how it feels. You're noticing your right leg on the floor, you're noticing your left leg, whether there's a difference between the two. Noticing pelvis. Noticing breath moving deep down in the belly. And then place the arms in a similar position. So they're going to be up and out on the diagonals. It's like you're making a star shape on the floor, if it's comfortable. Obviously, just place yourself in a way that feels comfortable. But we're looking for a sense of expansiveness. And you might notice the right arm and notice the left arm, and if there's any difference in the way that they're resting on the floor. So, one arm might feel more externally rotated than the other, for example, and the way you might tune into that is by noticing the back of the hands resting on the floor. So I'm noticing, for example, that my right palm is faced directly upwards and my left palm is facing a little to the wall in front of me. So that shows me that my shoulders, my arms are in slightly different orientation. So opening out upper body, and you might make a micro adjustment here and there. It could be that if arms are up too high, you're not actually as expanded as you could be, and if you took the arms a little further outwards, the chest softens and breathing becomes a bit easier. So open and expanded, and watching the breath moving through. And let's consciously soften the chest. Let's notice what you do in response to that invitation. What's required for you to consciously soften the chest? So noticing the expansiveness of upper body, the position that you're in, and the softness of your chest. And then also softening your belly. And again, just be curious as to what happens when you hear that invitation. So I notice that I just spontaneously take a longer exhalation in response to the desire to soften. But you might be doing something different, but just notice what happens. And so you're noticing the softness of the belly, the expansiveness of the lower body. And notice the place where upper and lower body meet, so around the solar plexus. So another focus of this Beltane festival is the meeting of the sun and the earth, sun and earth. So the light coming down, encouraging earth to blossom and to grow. So you might feel that meeting point in your body symbolically of lower body earth, upper body sun, just meeting together at center, solar plexus. And the colour of solar plexus energy is the colour that associates with your solar plexus energy center is yellow, is the colour of the sun. So it could be that you just visualize yellow at the center. Visualize the sun. Feeling that you are the sun. And then let's take a few deeper breaths. So inhaling, feel that you're breathing out into your fingers and toes. So fingers and toes can expand a little bit. And exhaling, feeling your fingers and toes softening. So a few rounds like this, inhaling, spreading fingers and toes, and exhaling. Everything is softening. So 2 or 3 more times. You can feel like you're breathing in the vibrancy of this Beltane festival energy. So breathing in high spring vibrancy, and just breathing out the staleness of the last vestiges of winter. Really shifting now into a different season. And then let the deeper breath go, and let's take some movement into fingers and toes, wriggling fingers and toes. Just feel as if you're exploring something with fingers and toes. It's a little bit like a seed germinating, just feeling its way through the earth around, looking for the light. Just feel that there's a sense of exploration in your fingers and toes, in your outer expression, your extremities. And then let's bring the right knee in towards the chest and hold the knee with the hands. You can just angle it in the direction of the right armpit, so you're angling your knee out to the side. And then let's bring the left knee in towards the chest and catch it with the left hand, so angling it out towards the left armpit. So gathering in a little bit here, but still keeping a sense of openness and expansiveness. So hopefully you're still open across the torso and the belly. And it could be that you're resting your elbows on the floor and just holding your knees with your hands. So it's like you're propping your knees up. And just be aware of the length of your spine. Aware of the breath moving through you. Be aware of the openness through the front body. See if you can maintain a softness in the chest and a softness in the belly, even though you're in a different position. So one that might be asking a little more of you. Keeping that sense of softness. Softness and receptivity. And so for creativity to be fertilized, there needs to be a sense of receptivity. Entering into a receptive state. And then let's start to circle the knees in towards and away from one another. So you can rest your hands on your kneecaps as you go. So elbows will be lifted from the floor now. You're circling the knees in towards and away. And as you do this, encourage the pelvis to tip forward and back a little bit. So on the outward arc of your circles, your pelvis will tip forward, so low back arching. And on the inward arc, the pelvis will tip backwards, so the low back presses to the floor. And let your head be passive. And let it respond to the movement of the pelvis. So knees circling, pelvis tip tilting, and the head gently nodding up and down in response. The chest stays soft, the belly stays soft, the breath is easy. Let's go in the opposite direction. Could be that you're experimenting with speed. So you could do one or two that are much slower. It might help you tune into the tilt of the pelvis a bit more. It's much slower. And then it could be that you do a few that are faster and looser, but without losing the precision of pelvis tipping and head nodding. You might return to your original speed, which is probably somewhere midway between the two. And then next time knees are coming towards one another, let's be still. So just squeeze the knees in towards the chest, knees together. And then place your left foot down on the floor and extend your passive right leg up towards the ceiling, so arms can rest down beside you. So passive right leg just hanging in the air, so you're not trying to straighten the leg or strengthen the leg. Foot's completely passive. Probably need a bend in your knee to let the leg rest comfortably, so knee might be angled a little towards the chest. So just letting that right leg hang in the air. So feeling the effect of gravity holding you to the earth, and particularly the weight to the pelvis on the right side. So back of the pelvis on the right side, just pressing down into the floor. And soften the chest, soften the belly, soften the back of the neck, soften the face. Be with your breathing. And then let's draw that right knee in towards the chest, place the foot down on the floor. Just feel the weight of the foot on the floor. So right leg relaxes, and then draw the left knee in towards the chest and extend that passive left leg up towards the ceiling. So no work involved here, just letting the leg hang out, so that you can feel the effects of gravity clearly through your left side. You might feel, I don't know, like the limb is perhaps like a blade of grass or a new shoot, just very gently kind of hanging out, reaching towards the sun, but doing it effortlessly, not striving. Just hanging out, being very natural. And then let's draw that left knee in, place the foot down on the floor and relax. Just feel the pelvis relax, the leg relax when you give the weight of the foot to the floor. And then let's bring both knees in towards the chest to reach both legs up towards the ceiling, passive legs. Start folding towards the ceiling. You might need to play around with the right angle of your knees for the low back to be flat to the floor and completely comfortable. So you don't want any kind of arching in your low back, or ideally in the back of the neck. So you might just tuck the chin a little bit, shoulder blades drawing down. So the idea is to be here without effort beyond the intention to have the legs up. Focusing on your breath and your softening. And you're feeling the floor firmly beneath you. You're feeling the lightness of the legs hanging. So feeling those opposites. And bring some gentle rotations into your ankles. Of course, you can release down whenever you need to, but seeing if you're able to stay with least effort. So rotating ankles, opposite direction. And then be still. Let's place both feet down on the floor. Relaxing. And then let's reach passive right arm up towards the ceiling. So you want to feel the shoulder heavy on the floor. So the arm is long, but you're not locking at your elbow. And there's no sense of reach, just arm hanging. You could lift the back of right shoulder and then just drop it down. You could do that a couple of times. Maybe you could do a fast, loose version as well, and then one or two slower ones. So it's very deliberately connecting the back of the shoulder to the floor, and then a couple of moments in stillness, softening, feeling that weightiness of shoulder to the floor. Again, this sense of being rooted to the earth, but somehow just very organically and easily reaching for the light. You feel the weight of that shoulder on the floor. And then let's lower the right arm down, do it on the left side. So reach your left arm up, so you might immediately notice a difference, one side of the body to the other. So you can do that lift lower of the shoulder a few times. You lift it up, you drop it down so it hits the floor with a little thump. You don't do that from the elbow, you do it from the shoulder, and then you could do some fast, loose versions of that. So like you're just very gently encouraging tension to be released from the shoulder, and then a few moments in stillness with that passive left arm just hanging in space. You might micro adjust. Does it feel more comfortable to take it a little further to the left side or to the wall behind or to the wall in front or something? So little adjustments until you feel into the place that feels easiest. So you're not necessarily looking to have the hand directly above the shoulder or whatever. You're feeling the place that enables you to let go the most through the back of the shoulder. And then let's relax. So bring the arm down, relaxing. And then both arms can reach up towards the ceiling. Perhaps we can do that lift, lower back of shoulders, slow ones, fast ones. And then be still, so back of the shoulders really firmly in contact with the floor. And then let's draw both knees in towards the chest and extend passive legs to the ceiling. So the arms and the legs just hanging out. Hopefully feeling your back really in contact with the floor beneath you. It could be that you're okay just to hang out, be still. Obviously you release as you need. Be that you turn your head to the right and just gently lift the right hip, the right shoulder, just a fraction. Sorry, the left hip and shoulder, the opposite shoulder. So you look to the right and you lift your opposite hip and shoulder, and then you look to the left and you're lifting opposite hip and shoulder. So it's just a little side to side rocking action just across your back. And again, you can, once you've got the idea of that, just make it a bit faster, looser. So again, you want it to be effortless. Just have this kind of playful sense, perhaps, of reaching towards the light. And then let it go. So let's bring the feet down. Let's bring the arms down. So have the feet about mat width apart, maybe. Take the feet about mat width apart. And let's cradle the head with the hands. And then gently press the elbows down towards the floor as you let the knees fall outwards a little way. So you'll be rolling onto the outer edges of your feet and your pelvis will be tipping forwards. So another very expansive position. And then let's raise the head up, squeeze the elbows together. You'll feel the pelvis naturally tip backwards. And you're going to squeeze your knees together. The knees and thighs squeezing, little squeeze of the buttocks. You're pressing your feet firmly down so the feet stay wide. So let's move between these two positions a few times. So inhaling, head comes down and the knees are opening out as your back arches, so pelvis tips forward. And exhaling, nice slow, smooth movement, the head lifts, the elbows squeeze, the knees squeeze. Really pressing the feet down into the floor. Press your low back down. So find your own way with it. A few times inhaling to open. See how it is to expand on this full moon Beltane day. And then exhaling just to gather back in. So good to feel the opposites. If we didn't have the gathering in, we wouldn't know how it would feel to open out. So inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, curling round, contracting. Let's just do a couple more. Let it be soft and easy, but also let there be a satisfaction in the muscles that need to contract in order to make this movement happen. And then next time head is lifted, knees are together. Let's pause there for a moment. So head lifted, knees together, and spread and lengthen your toes. Press the toes really firmly down. So you want the inner and the outer edges of your feet engaged with the floor, even though you've got your knees propped together. And then keep your lower body as it is. Just roll and press your right shoulder down into the floor to lift your left shoulder up. So you're reaching your left elbow over to the right side. And then slowly come through center. And do that on the other side. So you press your left shoulder down. Now, so the right shoulder's lifting and the right elbow is reaching to the left wall. So side to side with that one. And you can play around with leading the movement from the back of the shoulders, that shift of weight across the back of the shoulders, or from the rib cage. So not so focused on the elbows now, but you're making exactly the same movement. And you'll probably find that it just feels a bit sturdier somehow when you're leading from center and when you're really recruiting the support of the floor. And then next time head comes to center, just gently lower the head down and keep the hands where they are behind the head. And you choose, if your knees are comfortable in this position, let's stay here. If you prefer to have knees and feet hip width apart to lift and lower your hips, do that. But otherwise, let's keep feet wide, knees together, feet really anchored to the floor. Forward of the knees, thighs are squeezed together, and then slowly low back down. And explore it a few times. So you might keep your elbows anchored consciously to the floor as well to help open out the chest. And even though there's a requirement here, a muscular requirement to lift and lower the pelvis, let's see if we can keep the chest soft and keep the belly soft. So abdominal muscles can engage, but let's have a softness, particularly in terms of the striving. So nice and soft and easy. You might inhale as the hips are floating up, so you're just coming up and down, repeating it, and you're exhaling as the hips are coming down. And then next time hips are down, just pause for a moment resting, and then lift your hips just a little way, really just a centimetre or so, lift, and then drop them down quite heavily so they hit the floor with a little thump, like we were doing with the shoulders. And then you do it again, just lift a centimetre or so and drop down. And again, lift and drop, and then see if you can make that much faster and looser. So again, you might be choosing to do this with knees and feet hip width apart, but if you can, keep going with knees together and feet wide. And it's a very light lift lower tapping of the pelvis on the floor, so you're making it much faster, not that much connection with the floor, just enough to really loosen out muscles of the low back. And then be still. As you release the hands from behind the head, let's go back to arms up and out on the diagonal as we explored earlier. And take your knees apart, but we've got the feet still mat width apart, so feet are wide and the knees are now apart. And gently bring both knees down towards the floor on the right side, turning your head to the left and possibly tipping the head up to look towards your left hand. Stays on the floor, just to activate gently the muscles to the back of the neck there. And then as you're bringing the knees back to centre, the head returns to centre, and you take a moment to consciously relax your muscles, so particularly the muscles of the neck. So let's do it again the same side. So the knees are coming down to the right with the feet wide apart. So again, there's a sense of expansiveness. And you're turning your head to the left, and you may be looking up in the direction of your left hand, keeping the head on the floor. And so you're just feeling a little squeeze to the back of the neck. And then slowly return the knees to upright, the head to centre, and you consciously relax your muscles. And then let's take that again. The knees are going to the right, the head's turning to the left. And then back through centre. And then let's change sides, so the knees can go to the left and the head is turning to the right, and maybe looking up in the direction of right hand. And do honour any difficulty that you have in your neck there, don't force anything. So looking up towards right hand, and then you're returning the knees to upright, the head to centre, and everything is relaxing. So staying with soft chest, soft belly, but muscles releasing on the bone. And then do it again. So the knees are going to the left, the head's turning to the right, maybe looking up, holding in position for a moment, noticing muscles in contraction. And then as you return to your starting point, you're noticing muscles release, and then you consciously relax. Final time. Knees are going to the left, head is turning to the right, maybe looking up towards the hand, and then returning yourself to upright. Now from here, let's keep the feet wide, but rest the hands on the belly. Let's take a few moments to tune into breathing here. So maybe a few rounds where we're counting the length of the breath. So you could inhale slowly and steadily to capacity, however long that takes you, so about 3 or 4 counts, maybe longer. That's a slow, steady metronomic counts. Then exhaling for a little bit longer than that. So if you inhaled for 4, aim to exhale perhaps for 6, maybe even for 8. So inhaling slowly, smoothly, steadily, you're finding your own count. And then exhaling for longer. And so you could have a sense of really breathing in spring energy. And then as you breathe out, have a sense of that energy maybe being distributed into every cell of your being. Also receptive body on exhalation. able to absorb this spring energy. And then slowly and gently, just tip yourself to the side, whichever side. So you let go your breath pattern and you just roll off to the side and bring yourself up to sitting. And let's have the legs comfortably wide. So intention is to sit upright, so you could have your hands in line with your hips, but if it's uncomfortable to sit like this, you can lean back a bit. But you could just play around with that, lean back and then maybe walk in and just see where it stops feeling easeful. So you want to be in a place of ease. And then put your sit bones on the floor and roll and press the left sit bone down into the floor to lift the right sit bone up. So you're not really leaning to the left. I mean, you will shift weight, but it comes from the sit bone. And then you lower yourself back down. And do it again. Let's lift that right sit bone. So you'll notice that your legs just naturally tip left and lower back down. And again, let's lift. So contraction through right side. And let's lower. And change sides. So you roll and press the right hip into the floor and this left hip lifts and gently lowers. You do it again. So you can be pushing the floor with left hand if that helps, or even lifting left buttock with the hand and lowering. So let's just take that again. And then swap that to a side to side. So right lifts, left lifts, and you're kind of aware of your central axis, your kind of verticality. So as I say, it's not a big lean over to the side. You're sort of staying fairly upright, noticing this contraction through the side body. This could become faster and looser. See how fast you can go with it and somehow hold the precision of it. So really loosen the back. You can visualize your kind of lumbar vertebrae loosening, and as they loosen, the spine lengthens, and we've got that sense perhaps of just effortlessly reaching to the light again, but feeling really rooted in the earth. Yeah. And it might be enough just to continue this exploration if you're finding it a bit tricky. But it could be now that as you lift your right sit bone, you're going to bend your right knee and gather your legs together. So you've come into a twist and you've turned left. And then you'll straighten your right leg out and return yourself to your starting point. So let's try that one again. So really light and easy with the legs, like as if your legs are cooked spaghetti and they're just really kind of loose and malleable. So just do it a few times. And you're supporting yourself with your left hand behind you. And again, it could become a bit faster if you're feeling okay with it. So you're bringing your right knee to your left heel. So there's a triangle of space in front of you. So you're not kind of really bound up. Oh, that's given me a cramp doing that. Yeah, so playing around with speed, one or two that are faster, one or two that are slower. And then let's take it to the other side. So you're going to lift your left sit bone, bend your left knee, just gather your legs together, and it's left knee finding right heel, and then you open back out again. So intention is for it to be really light and easy. Maybe you speed it up, but only if it feels safe to do that, and only if you can do it without losing the precision. And then just a moment at centre, relaxing, and probably will be walking forward here, so you have to keep repositioning yourself on the mat. Maybe just go back to the first kind of loose lift lower. And then let's do a side to side. So right sit bone lifts, you bend the knee, you gently swivel to the left, straighten your legs out, and go over to the other side. And just play around with it. So your arms could perhaps start to flow quite freely. Yes, let the arms be really free, and that might help the movement. Could be that you speed it up. Could be that you slow it down. Notice whether you're able to do this with a soft belly and a soft chest and not holding your breath. And when you feel you've had enough, let's just return to sitting for a moment. Hands out to the side. And if you did have to sort of lean back a bit to be comfortable here when we started, see if that might have changed. It could be that you could be a bit further forward. And then let's cross the legs, right leg landing in front. So left comes in first, right leg in front. And inhale, take the arms out and up, touch the backs of the hands, look up, lengthen through the front of the body. And then exhale, let's lower the arms down. And then turn the palms to face upwards, so you can inhale, touch the palms together now. Take a pause and lengthen. And exhale, bring the arms down. And then hands can rest on the knees, and let's take some backward rotations of the shoulders, really loosening in the jaw. You could be pulling some funny faces or letting some yawns come. So let the jaw be your access point, if you like, to more shoulder mobility. You'll probably find that the more you can release in the jaw, the easier it is to move the shoulders. Let's go in the opposite direction. And then let that go. Let's cross the wrists so you've got your left wrist on top. And then touch your palms together, interlock your fingers. So it's a fairly loose connection, you're not gripping on for dear life. Let's draw the knuckles to the navel, to the chin, soften your shoulders down. So you don't want to be here. Soften your shoulders, soften your chest. And then the knuckles can go down towards the floor and then up towards the ceiling, just however high feels good for your shoulders. So up and down a few times, soften shoulders down. And then you keep soft shoulders as the arms go out and up. So you can still lengthen, but sort of not bring unnecessary tension into the shoulders. So keeping that sense of softness, and perhaps even that sense of limbs like cooked spaghetti, just very, very light and loose. And next time arms are up, let's take a pause to release the interlock of the fingers and to rotate the wrists as you're bringing the arms down. So some rotation into your wrists. And then let's open legs out wide again. Change the cross of the legs. So left leg lands in front. So arms out to the side. Inhale, backs of the hands touching above the head. Take a pause, look up and lengthen. So you're lifting out of your low back. Exhale, bring the arms down. Turn your palms to face upwards, inhaling. Let's raise the gaze, lift through the front body. And exhale, let's bring the arms down. Hands onto the knees to take an alternate backward rotation of the shoulders. So one shoulder rotates, other one follows. You don't want elbows doing too much work out to the side. You want to keep them gently tucked in. And again, you might go back to movements of the jaw. Could be that you maybe don't need to move the jaw that much this time to get a bit more movement into the shoulders. Let's go in the opposite direction. And it could be that you're practicing with eyes closed so that you really feel into how it is to do this. So it's like you're inside your shoulder joint. It's receiving the movement, or you're inside your neck, or you're inside your upper back. Really feeling into it that way. Okay, be still. Cross wrists in front with the right wrist on top, and then you touch the palms together. Go to interlock the fingers, pause, and change the interlock round. So you lead with the opposite index finger on top. So still you're quite soft here with your grip, and then you're drawing knuckles to navel to chin. A pause to soften the shoulders down. See how that feels. Keep the shoulders down as you take the arms forward and up. and just explore it a few times. And you don't have to do the whole movement each time. It could be there's a sticky place for you and you just want to play with that a few times, or maybe it's the up bit that's, you know, going up without lifting the shoulders. So the tendency to sort of do this is quite strong. So see if you can find where maybe the arms don't go as high as you keep the shoulder blades down. Just paying attention, letting it be light and loose. See if you can soften your chest and your belly a bit more. And next time you're up, pausing to release the interlock of the fingers, we're going to rotate the wrists. Notice the direction you go in automatically, change it round. You'll probably be doing your opposite. So arms come down. And then let's just open the legs out wide again and go back to just that little lift lower of the sit bones that we did at the beginning. Your little exploration there could be that you feel much lighter, looser, not just down in your low back, but all through and up into your neck, your jaw here now maybe. And then let's straighten the legs. So bring straight legs together and come on to all fours. To circle around your wrists and your knees. And opposite direction. And be still. Let's take the buttocks to the heels, gently pressing the front of the ankles into the floor. And coming back up to all fours to tuck the toes under and take the buttocks to the heels. And coming up, untucking the toes, taking the buttocks to the heels. And coming up and tucking the toes and taking the buttocks back. And coming up. So let's keep the toes tucked. You're up on all fours and you're pressing the floor. So push away with your palms, push away with the base of the toes, or you could be on the forearms if your wrists aren't comfortable. So pushing firmly, just feeling the belly gently rise towards the spine, but soften your chest. Yeah, so belly is active, but there's a softness in the chest. And then just release the press for a moment, relax everything. And take it again. So you're going to press down with the palms, press down through the base of the toes. Maybe this time you also lift your knees just a centimetre from the floor. Imagining that you've got something in between your thighs that you're squeezing onto. So you stay kind of hip width apart with your knees, but feel that your thighs are squeezing in. You're looking forwards, you're softening your chest, you're engaging your belly. And then release. The knees come down, you relax everything. And then let's take it again. So push the floor, that could be the place that you stay. Lift the knees if you're happy to work that. And now go up into dog perhaps from here, really slowly, and as if you're moving through clay to get there. So you're having to really push. So you keep a deep bend in the knees until your tail can take over and lead, and then legs straighten out. So you come into your pose, you hold for a moment, still got that sense of pushing, as if you're pushing through clay to get to where you want to go. And then let's come down with the same amount of engagement in the muscles. So the clay is still somehow resisting you as you're coming back down. And you might hover knees just a centimetre from the floor before you lower the knees down, untuck the toes and come back into child's pose. And then let's sit upright on the heels. And lift the hips, reaching the arms forward and up. And then lower the hips, bringing the arms forward and down. So a couple more times. Inhale, let's come up. And exhale down. And then next time you're up, take a pause to reach your left arm towards the wall in front of you, your right arm to the wall behind you. Turn and look the length of your right arm. Actively reach. And then turn face forward with arms alongside the ears to take it in the opposite direction. So the right arm reaches to the wall in front, the left arm reaches to the wall behind. You turn and look down the length of left arm. You actively reach. And then face forward again, arms alongside the ears. Once more each side, so left arm forward, right arm back, extending. And face forward. And then right arm forward and left arm back. And face forward. So lower the hips, bring the arms forward and down. Lift the hips, take the arms forward and up. Couple more times. And then next time you're down, come to all fours again. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, float up into dog pose, no resistance at all now, so feeling the difference. Now you just come find your pose. So soft knees for a high tail and really pushing floor away to broaden the chest out and to activate the upper body, and to see if you can soften your chest here and somehow maintain the structure of your dog pose but with a soft chest. A couple of deep breaths, releasing as you need to, of course, holding if you can. How can you bring some softness into your experience but maintain the structure that's needed to be here? And then gently coming down. Let's just turn the inner elbows to face forwards. Press the elbows down onto the floor. Lay the belly and the chest down. And just make a pillow with your hands. Breathing with awareness of the floor in front of you. So inhaling, belly and chest pressing into the floor. And exhaling, it might feel like the floor is pressing up into your belly and your chest. Helping them to soften. So a couple of deeper breaths like that. And then press your right frontal hip bone down into the floor. And your left frontal hip bone down. And release, and then press your pubic bone down into the floor. So that will probably shorten your stomach muscles and lower your tail. And release, and then press your low ribs to the floor, which will lengthen your stomach muscles and lift your tail a fraction. And release. And then press the left leg down to lift the straight right leg up, both hip bones engaged with the floor. And release. And then press the straight right leg down to lift your straight left leg up, both hip bones pressing down into the floor. And release. And then bend both knees so your feet are pointing towards the ceiling, so light and relaxed in the feet. So knees probably about hip width apart. And then swing your whole low leg round, allowing your pelvis to gently tip side to side. So as your feet swing over to the right, you're probably feeling right frontal hip bone wanting to draw down towards the floor, and as the
Knees tip over, the feet tip over to the left. You'll feel left frontal hip bone. So just allowing the momentum of the legs, the swing of the legs to massage your back. It's going the opposite direction. Soft belly, soft chest. And then pause with your feet still pointing towards the ceiling there. And then as slowly as you can, lower your feet down towards the floor, really slowly. Just notice the places where you lose control or where the movement seems to stop. Where you suddenly drop, or notice what's required. Going really slowly. Bring the feet down and notice whether you're able to touch the feet to the floor at the same time or whether one comes down before the other. And when the feet do finally touch the floor, whole body relaxing. And then let's come back with forearms alongside the body to push ourselves up away from the floor. So push down into the forearms, gather the belly towards the spine, push yourself up, back into child's pose. And then walk the hands in towards the knees to sit upright on your heels. So you can tuck your toes and lift your knees and sink your heels down and come to standing. So you'll be standing at the back of your mat. Now just keep your eyes closed as you shift your weight over into your right foot. So you're pressing the sole of the foot really firmly down into the floor. And then keep your eyes closed and you shift your weight into your left foot. So gently shifting side to side. And then next time weight is pressing down into right foot, take a pause, keep your eyes closed and just lift your left foot a centimetre from the floor. You can lift and hold the balance, knowing that it's challenging to balance with eyes closed and that you might be wobbling about a bit and trying to find center, and that's where the learning is happening. So allow for the wobbling about to happen. And then place that left foot down, change sides. So you're going to anchor down through your left foot. Keep the eyes closed if you can, lift your right foot. See if you can balance, so you'll likely be better at it one side than the other. Just noticing your differences. Okay, step out of your balance and open your eyes. So the feet hip width apart, anchored to the floor. Just find the back of the thighs with your hands. Run the hands down towards the ankles, so in touch with the back of the legs. Bend the knees as you go down, just however much you need to bring yourself towards a forward bend, so gently pulling the body in towards the legs. And then push firmly into your feet to take your arms out to the side and grow up towards the sky. So you're coming up to standing and touch the palms together above the head. And then bring the hands down in front of the heart, prayer position, to push into your right foot again and come into some form of tree balance. So it could be that you're just lifting one foot from the floor, as we did before, that left foot. It could be that you place the toes on top of right foot. You could hook behind. You could place the foot somewhere to the inside of the leg. So coming into tree balance, and perhaps just have in mind all these beautiful fruit trees that we have coming into blossom at the moment here in this high point of spring. So it could be that you then take your arms up and reach your arms out and perhaps become a blossoming tree. And then let's step out of the pose with control. Give yourself a little shake. And then let's take it on the other side. So starting with the forward bend. So hands find the buttocks, the back of the thighs. And you run the hands down the thighs, softening your knees as you go to catch your ankles. And then to gently pull the body in towards the legs. So the touch just helping the muscles to release a bit more. And then you can deepen the bend in the knees, take the arms out to the side, reach yourself up to standing. Palms above the head, raise the gaze, lengthen. So in order to grow a little taller, you can really root down through your feet, just as the tree will root down further into the earth. And then you're bringing the hands down in front of the heart. And then you're choosing your foot position. Could be that you have your right heel resting on your left ankle. That's another variation that you could try. Might be a little less challenging, so find some way to come into tree pose. And just know that the trees have as much of a root system below ground as they have a trunk and a branch system above ground. So, so maybe visualizing a mirror image of yourself below ground, keeping you steady. And then just seeing whether there's the possibility to rise your hands up towards the ceiling and to gently open the arms out. So your tree coming into blossom. You can take a moment or two there. And then gently releasing. So step out of your balance and give yourself a little shake out. And then with feet hip width apart, just soft knees. Let's circle the knees around a few times. Could be lifting, lowering your toes as you go around your circle there. In opposite direction. And then let that go. Be still. Just come to standing. Stand for a moment, eyes closed. And feel the back of the body. Just reaching a little to the wall behind you, front of the body. Opening to whatever lies ahead. Feet rooted, crown lifting. Breath moving through you. And gently returning to this inquiry about what you would like to blossom and grow in your life right now. See if anything about the practice has helped you come closer to some notion of what you might like to fertilize and bring to expression. And it could be as you stand here that you notice what's required in order to do that. So is it a little more rootedness? Do you need to sort of press your feet down into the floor a bit more? Is it a more of a lean back into trust, perhaps? Is it a little more openness through the front body? Sort of receptivity and openness to possibility? Or is it a gentle reaching towards the light, towards optimism and hopefulness and positivity? It could be that just your standing position here is your barometer as to what's needed. And when you have finished with that inquiry, you can continue to stand if it's giving you useful information. Otherwise, just come down onto the floor now and onto your back, or however you want to be for our last few minutes of rest. If you have returned to your back, and if it was a comfortable place to be, maybe legs are wider and arms are out and up. If it feels welcome.
We'll just settle into quietness. And it could be that quietness is the condition that's needed in order for things to blossom and grow. Because nature is very quiet. So when the tree comes into blossom, there's nothing much to hear. When the tree comes into leaf, and yet so much energy moving through. So just honouring the place that quietness has in the growing of things. As you allow yourself to really relax here, to soften and to let go. And then just noticing where your attention is. If the mind has gone wandering, just come back to your body. See how you are as a result of your practice. See how you are as a result of this potent May Day place that we find ourselves in. It could be that you're a little more in touch with that rising energy now, having put your attention on it for a while. And then let's start to move the fingers, move the toes, and to find our way towards a stretch. And then to hug the knees in if you're on your back. Then tip off to the side, up to sitting. And we'll offer ourselves and each other namaste.